let's get right into football. We're going to talk a little bit of recruiting today. Brent Pry has made it a very big emphasis early on since he was introduced that he wants to recruit Virginia. He wants to make Virginia the priority for Virginia Tech. And let's look at some of the places that they've been able to recruit Virginia, him and his staff, in their previous stops in their career. We have this map showing all the counties that they've been able to recruit. And it's funny, you look at it, Chesterfield has been the big hotspot for this staff. 6 players recruited out of that county.
Chesterfield, Virginia, we are coming for all your football players, for sure. Now, to clarify, these are FBS players only.
Okay.
This is all Virginia Tech's current coaches at all their previous schools, the number of in-state recruits they've signed at FBS schools. Obviously, a guy like Fontel Mines has probably signed guys from Richmond and the 757. But 247 doesn't track FCS signings, like as far as like coaches who recruited them and things like that. So when Fontel Mines was heavily recruiting Richmond or the 757 for Richmond or where, wherever else, it's not going to show up in these numbers. These are FBS signings only. But yes, obviously a ton of experience around that Richmond area. Honestly, all the way down to Petersburg, like around Dinwiddie, all the way up to Louisa County, Henrico, Fluvanna, the Fredericksburg area and things like that. So in that central area of Virginia, there's a lot of experience. And obviously, you see some signings from Northern Virginia in there as well. Only a couple guys from the 757. One from Suffolk, one from Virginia Beach, and those are the 2 guys that J.C. Price signed this past year.
So we need to be aware. So we're currently showing a graphic on the YouTube stream. So for our audio-only listeners, we kind of need to...
That's true. Yes.
And as we progress with our technology here, it's going to be better for you to watch the podcast than listen to it, to be quite honest with you.
Don't forget to subscribe.
We should actually, at some point, we should probably change the name from the TSL podcast to TSL TV.
I like it.
As we add more graphics and things like that. It's so much more than just a podcast now, but this graphic will be included in a later article if you're a TSL Pass subscriber.
Well, and if you're listening, maybe switch on over to YouTube. Just check this out. I believe we're going to clip this later for you to watch on YouTube as well. But for our audio listeners, there's a large hotspot around Richmond. You look at Chesterfield, as well as Richmond, Fluvanna, Henrico, Hanover, Louisa, lots of players in there. A few from Northern Virginia. You look at Stafford, Prince William, Fairfax, Arlington, and then, as you mentioned, just a few in the 757 and in Southwest Virginia. So, again, that hot spot around Richmond, that's going to be a large focus for the staff, but also have to expand Northern Virginia in the 757, where there's a little bit less experience there.
Yeah. As far as FBS signings, though, and like I said, Fontel Mines, I believe, knows enough people in the 757 where I figure if you include FCS signings,
that number would get higher.
That number would get higher. I don't know that for a fact because that data isn't tracked, so it's incomplete. It's a good reference point, but it's incomplete. But I do believe that if I had to guess going forward, I think Virginia Tech will sign more players within a 1-hour radius of Richmond than anywhere else.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, yeah. And I also think I think there will be more players signed out of Northern Virginia than what you see on this map.
Right.
Personal note, I'm embarrassed to admit I had no clue where Tazewell County was. I thought it was up around Roanoke. Sorry if that makes Tazewell County denizens mad. And I do have another question. 3 signees out of Fluvanna. What's going on in Fluvanna? Do you guys know? Do you remember?
Loaded. No, I don't remember.
Yeah, that is a football hotspot in Fluvanna County.
Well, I know that didn't Price signed a linebacker out of.
You're talking about Brandon Smith. He's from Louisa.
Christian Hackenberg was from Fluvanna.
Right, really? He's not included on this
originally.
List.
Okay,
right. Well, was he really? Was Hackenberg actually a Virginia recruit, or did he just come here and play?
He went to. I think he
was. Well, but Fork Union kids are generally from out of state.
Oh, so it's Fork Union in Fluvanna? Is that?
That's it.
That's all Fork Union guys.
So it's a little bit misleading from that standpoint because Fork Unicans aren't necessarily from Virginia.
Yes.
They just maybe spend a year of prep school here. So, you have to take that part of it with a grain of salt.
But if you're looking at the map, there's a whole bunch of areas highlighted, and they all have one recruit, except for Chesterfield with 6 and Fluvanna/Fork Union with 3.
Right, and you can kind of throw the Fork Union thing out.
So that is very interesting to see. If Fluvanna is Fork Union, Chesterfield is the only county in Virginia with more than 1, and they have 6.
6.
Yeah.
Like,
But there is a cluster there around the Richmond area.
Yeah. And up in the Fredericksburg area too. I think that's something to highlight as well. I don't know, Jake. You're from Nova. Do people from Nova consider Fredericksburg Nova?
It's up there. Yeah.
I've always wondered that too. I personally don't. I think it's kind of in that
the media
void between Nova and Richmond.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say a lot of Pry, especially in Penn State, heavily recruited that Fredericksburg area. Guys like Yator Gross-Matos, guys like that.
Even further up, I can't believe I'm blanking
Arlington?
on
Stafford.
Briar Woods, quarterback for Penn State forever. Trace McSorley. Trace McSorley was from Ashburn, which is 20 minutes from where I live in Loudon.
Pry and Penn State loved that Fredericksburg, Northern Virginia area.
No doubt. Yep.
And you can see that already. David's compiled a list of all of the Virginia schools and all of the schools that Tech has publicly visited with this new staff, 66 in-state schools. And I just love seeing Sean Quinn all over Twitter. He's going to all the schools I played baseball against over the last over 4 years.
So he's up in Northern Virginia.
He is. Last night he was at my sister's high school, which is 3 minutes from my house, 2 years old. They have an offensive lineman there, Anthony Donko, who's 6'5", 310. So maybe we'll get a Light Ridge Lightning to Virginia Tech at some point.
Yeah, and they are doing out-of-state stuff right now too.
20 schools out of state that they've gone to
that we know
publicly.
That we know of. I think they're definitely making a focus to publish all of the in-state stuff on social media. I don't know about the out-of-state stuff.
Right.
I do know Brad Glenn has been down in Georgia. He tweeted the other day, "It's been great recruiting Georgia and getting Virginia word out to Georgia," but he didn't tweet from any specific high schools down there.
So you're sure that he maybe went to 5?
Yeah,
he probably went to 5 or 10 high schools. And
I have 3 on the list that Glenn publicly went to, and then there was
he's more.
And then four members of the staff, Prelude, Bowen, Quinn, and Rudolph, all went to Perry High School to visit Daquan Wright.
Right, exactly. And you've got Derek Jones in Charlotte right now. Which I like very much.
Yeah.
And David's compiled this great spreadsheet. 6 schools in Tennessee, I believe, about 4 in South Carolina, 5 in North Carolina, 1 in Maryland, 5 in Georgia, 1 in Florida. So lots of schools out of the Commonwealth, but it obviously seems like Pry has put a big emphasis on Virginia, and I think we're going to see this map start to fill up pretty quickly over the next couple of years.